The main focus of this year's Wealth Report is on the world's wealthy middle class. And we define that according to bands of wealth within each country. So for example, in the US, middle class wealth is between $50,000 and $500,000. In China, the lower band is about $29,000. World wealth fell in the last year. This is the first fall since 2008. The main reason for this fall is we measure wealth in dollars, and the strong dollar has been a big contributor here. World wealth today stands at about $250 trillion, down about 12 trillion from last year. The wealth pyramid, I think, is a really nice way of capturing what's going on across the world economy and within household balance sheets. At the bottom of the wealth pyramid, wealth is actually growing, and there's about 3 billion people or more who have wealth below $10,000. In the middle of the wealth pyramid, where you get some very dynamic consumer trends, you've got about 1 billion people with wealth between $10,000 and $100,000. And then if I move to the top of the wealth pyramid, you have 34 million people with wealth above $1 million, and all of their wealth added up is about $112 trillion. So it's a big number for a small number of people. Look at some of the countries where the middle class wealthy have really increased. Look at, for example, Colombia and Poland. In the last 10 or 15 years, the middle class wealthy in those countries have increased by about between 160 and 180%. And in those cases, and also China, you've got some very positive consumer dynamics. And then politically, I think what's going on with the world's middle class is very important. If we take some of the IMF forecasts and look ahead 5 years to the middle of 2020, we would expect global wealth to grow in dollar terms by about 38% to roughly $345 trillion. That's a very, very big number. Income inequality has gotten a lot of headlines in the last couple of years. For countries like the US, you haven't seen much change in the level of inequality. And I think the way we read it is that the inequalities in wealth in countries like the US really spiked about 10 years ago in the early 2000s and have remained at those levels. Now, in select emerging countries, you also see a high level of wealth inequality. You tend to expect that from countries who are undergoing structural growth. And just to give you some numbers, I mean, to be in the top 10% of the world's population in terms of wealth, you need wealth of about, I think, $69,000. To be in the top 1%, if you've got wealth above $750,000, you're in the top 1% of the global wealth.